Hey guys, welcome back to another video where we are going to look at how a business app created using AgilePoint NX can be integrated with ChatGPT both at form as well as process level. The latest technology trend to take the internet by a storm is ChatGPT, also known as chatbot that appears capable of creating human-like responses to almost anything that you ask it. It's a new kid on the block and you can't stop its rise to fame. ChatGPT has generated a lot of attention lately, both positive and negative, and it's already being used by students and content writers to speed up their own work. It's a buzzword that has been echoed as much as cloud was a few years ago. Because of all the hype around it, I've already been asked a few times that how can ChatGPT play a role in the world of business apps, and the best way to see it is in action. So let's get started. For the first scenario, I'm going to pick a new vehicle order form where customer is asked to pick his choice of trim, color, accessories, and during that process, he has to go back to search engine to perform some kind of research on his own before he decides which of these are right for him. This means a user most likely suspends filling the order form and spends an awful lot of time doing research before coming back to the order form again after doing the research. This, however, could result in a lost customer as things can change during his process and buyer might drop the idea of buying the car. You want to make it as seamless as possible during the first session itself. To show this experience, I'm going to simulate an order form for Tesla, which has really revolutionized the EV car industry and made it extremely simple for users to put in their order. This is by far the best experience you would find to place a new car order. Their UI is quite sleek, and sometimes customers even ask us if e-forms can be used to create such visually appealing form. This is the reason I decided to pick Tesla order form as an example, as you could not only see the same kind of experience can be designed in e-forms, but also would serve as a good example of how ChatGPT can make an already best of the class experience even better. So let's look at it. So I'm going to first go to tesla.com and I'm going to go to one of its order forms. So here is the overall experience. You can see the car image based on the choices which you are making over here. For example, Model Y long range versus Model Y performance. So certain things change. Next, it asks me to pick a paint. The moment I pick a paint, the image changes as well as the dollar amount is changing. However, as a buyer, I might be a little bit confused, right? Why a particular paint like red is costing more than other paints, or whether I should go for long range versus performance, or whether I should go for model Y or model 3. So those are the kind of questions as a buyer, first time buyer might come to my mind. Similarly, if I scroll down, there are choices like, okay, whether I should go for Gemini wheels or induction wheels. Now again, I have to go back to a search engine, do my research before I come back and place an order. So there's a lot of those kind of decisions I have to make based on interiors. Again, the images are changing and the cost is changing as well. Now, once all of these options have been picked, again, one of the decision factors would be wall connector and whether I should go for mobile connector, right? So once all of these have been picked, I click on continue to payment. It shows me a summary on the site. The car image is still maintained, the total cost, and then I can say order with card. And at that point of time, it shows me some information where I can enter my name, last name, email address, delivery address, and card details to place the order. So they have made it really simple. Now, as I said, during this process, as a buyer, I might have some questions for which I have not done my research, right? So I'm going to show that scenario and how ChatGPT plays a role. So I'm going to go back to Work Center over here. I've created an order form. Now this can be exposed as an anonymous form externally. Now the first thing you'll see is the same form has been recreated using eForms. So the question I was asking you before, can eForms be used to create some visually appealing forms like the Tesla order form? Absolutely. So as you can see, the same experience is over here. Now I'm over here as a user. I might have the first question whether I should go for model Y or model 3. So I'm going to click on this. It's an interactive research assistant which is powered by ChatGPT. And my first question as a first time car buyer is that whether I should go for Model 3 or Model Y and what are the differences. Now I don't have to leave this order form. I can go over here, type my question, press enter. And ChatGPT does the research for me and brings back the data that here is what Model Y is about and here is the data about Model 3. So I know that what are the differences. Now next, I might have to check that whether I should go for long range or long performance. I don't know the differences. Again, I don't have to go leave the form. I can type in a question right over here and it tells me the difference between the two. Now, so with this, I decided to go with long range. Now the next question is, I have to choose a paint. Now, what I'm seeing is different paints, they cost differently. So I have a question that why does red color cost more? I can go in. Again, I don't have to go back to the search engine. I can paste my question here and it tells me why the red color costs more. I might even have a question that what's the difference between the cargo space in Model 3 and Model Y? So that seems to be the major difference. So instead of again reading all the specs, ChatGPT will do all that for me. So it tells me, okay, here is Model 3 has these many cubic feet and Model Y has these many cubic feet of cargo space. Okay. Now the next question I might have is, which wheels should I go for? Gemini wheels or induction wheels? Again, I have to go back to Research Assistant. I can go in over here and say, what's the difference? Which wheel should I go for? Okay, so I got back my response. So this way, I don't have to leave my order form. It is doing all the research for me. I'm going to select the wheels accordingly. So maybe I go for Gemini wheels. I can select white interior maybe. And as you can see, while I'm building it, it is a very interactive, visually appealing form, which can be created with eForms as well. It's the same experience which was on Tesla website. I show the entire summary of what the user selected, what is due today. And then user can just enter his account details and pay with a credit card. So that was demo scenario 1. So as we saw, it made an already wonderful experience even better so that I can get all the questions which were there in my mind, the answers to those right over there itself without having to leave the order form. Now for the second scenario, I'm going to integrate with ChatGPT through the backend process model layer, which gets triggered once the user has submitted the form. I'm again going to pick a car buyer research scenario, but in this case, user has not decided which car to buy yet, and he is doing initial research of which car to buy and might have questions comparing various choices available in the market. So I'm going to switch to my other window over here and show you the process model. The user submits the form with a bunch of questions and it runs those questions through ChatGPT and gets back the response and prepares a well-formatted email and mails it out to you. Now for this one, I've used a REST connector for now. Pretty soon we are going to have a native connector available for ChatGPT as well. So if you see over here, it's as simple as this. I make a connection to ChatGPT using the access token, paste in a sample model with just 3 prompts, create a schema mapper and map my actual question to it. And whatever response is sent back, I'm actually storing it back in a response variable over here. Now all the configurations are like these because I'm going to ask them a bunch of questions. So what we are going to do is we are going to go back to our work center and this time use the car buyer research form again, which can be exposed anonymously if you want. So here is the second form. Now this has multilingual capabilities as well. So I can get my answers in the language of my choice. I'm going to go with English for now. And I'm going to say, I'm doing research around Tesla Model Y. What are the pros and cons of the selected model? I'm interested in knowing the key specifications, what colors are available, and who are the competitors of the selected model, which is model Y in this case. And I also want to know maybe difference between model 3 and model Y. So I can put additional questions. And I put in my email ID, click submit. At this time, the process has got kicked off. And pretty soon I receive an email which collects all that information for me and puts it in an email. I could have put it in a nicely formatted Word document as well and emailed it out. Now I'm going to do the same demo in Chinese as well. ChatGPT has multilingual capabilities. So I'm going to say I want my response in Chinese. I'm going to select all the 4 questions, paste in my additional question, put in my email ID. Now within few seconds, I would receive another email. And if I open that email, now my response is in Chinese, coming back from ChatGPT. So as we saw in this demo, it is fairly easy to integrate ChatGPT today with a business application using the RESTful lookup or the REST activity. And pretty soon, AgilePoint is going to release a native connector for ChatGPT as well. Thanks a lot for your time.